Hi there, Questy. Welcome back to a little bit more hardcore Grim Dawn. QuestySparks going on here. Um, Picking up where I left off. I remember last session, I was looking into what I should do on the devotion tree with my upcoming points. And I figured that out. I know where I'm going. So next shrine, we're gonna have a quick assignment of points, unless between now and then I forget what I've just figured out, but hopefully that's not going to be the case. Of course, I did obviously forget about these. All right, get on. There we go. So new gloves, pretty sweet. I'm glad I randomly noticed those when I logged in here. Okay, yeah, so we had just gotten through Darkvale Village last time around, and so this time we are taking on the little Bloodsworn Fortress there, which will be an amusing thing to destroy. In the meantime, I should probably slap on some add-ons to my gloves here. What kind of stuff can we throw on here? Attack speed. We'd be looking for some spellcasting augments if I can get them. Like potentially that. There we go. Alright, now we do have one more kind of important thing to do before we go out there and engage with the enemy. And that is make sure that we look appropriate to the task of engaging with the enemy. So go and make sure that we like how those gloves look. It's the important stuff, right? I'm not messing around. I know how to decide priorities. Yeah, see, these gloves aren't bad, but I don't think they're what we really had last time. We could go with that. That's very fitting with the rest of my armor. It's got all these kind of runes on it. I worry that it might be a bit too much. Okay, those are pretty rad. We go with that. These ones here are obviously cold oriented. That looks cool. Alright, we're doing it. Okay, oh, that looks terrible as well. Obviously, we replaced that at some point. And then didn't come in here and do the necessary things. Okay, that's very understated. I don't like the ones that kind of, because they look so out of place, like hanging there. I look like I'm, you know, some kind of general from a third world dictatorship trying to just throw on a bunch of medals or something like that. Okay, aura's up. Look at this. We're getting everything right. We're remembering things like this. Oh, I'll tell you something else I could do here. This guy here, I don't actually know where this comes from. But these are just like little rewards. Oh, well, that's not the one I was hoping for. Is it you, maybe? Yeah, it is. Okay, this guy here. They've always been around, but you can just pick up, yeah, this guy here. Yeah, Will-O-Wisp in a jar. So you can pick up a couple of cool illusions from him. Like you can get, like headgear is a real, what's that? Oh yeah, so this just removes an illusion from something if you want. But that other guy has some cool illusions, as well that are sort of, you know, unique or whatever. It must come from one of the DLCs or something like that, but I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, though, this little guy here, you can summon this. It gives you like it gives you like a little bit of increased light radius. Like it doesn't do anything basically, but it kind of looks cool, and for this character it's extremely fitting. So it goes right with my theme of lightning. So let's go fuck some shit up. This is enough poking around. I'm being very casual here when I should be planting totems and watching people die horribly of electrocution. I wish I had some video editing skills, because I would, you know, completely get in there and throw down the videos like Indie Mouse does, you know, like the little Home Alone thing of the guy shrieking and electrocuting to death. It's good times. But, you know, given my complete lack of skill and effort, I'm just going to record me wandering around saying things and playing stuff. So, you know. The good news is I was looking at some stats. You know, you got your little dashboard for YouTube, which I'm pretty sure for a lot of people is kind of stressful and stuff. They're like, oh my God, I only have like 100,000 views this month. That's down like 8,000 views from last month. How am I going to make my living? Turns out I make my living with just another, like an actual job. And then I do this to just kind of inflict myself on the internet. So I don't really care. But it is kind of funny when you look at your videos and it's like the average view time is something like 43 seconds, which means nobody's seeing this, right? But it's just that thing about like, it's just enough time for somebody to be looking at the video and be like, what the fuck is going on here? Why does this exist? Okay, I'm out of here. You know, just enough time to realize that there's no good reason to be watching. Except, of course, to find out secret information, like there's a chest hidden behind here. Bet you didn't know that. But in any case, this Darkvale Gate, this is the little fortress that these little knobheads here have occupied, and they're in high concentrations, making it easy to slaughter them en masse, which I completely approve of. These harbingers are a little tough. Speaking of those harbingers, so you can get a sword. I'm sure I've talked about it before, but you can get a sword from a boss of one of the sort of challenge side areas in very early on in the game. You know, this strange key quest. And he drops a short sword that allows you to briefly summon one of those harbingers. Well, I saw a really cool thing the other day on the subreddit where somebody had done a non-class pet build. So in other words, they'd never taken the step of, you know, doing this thing and selecting a class. So they were just a level 100 classless character, which seems crazy. And I hadn't even really thought of that before. But yeah, you pick up tons of skills directly off of items, and that's exactly what they'd been doing. So they were playing, like I've seen people playing single class builds. I actually fiddled with a pretty fun single class Necromancer melee build, which is now dead because I also got stupid and overconfident. But I'm going to do it again with a couple little changes. But anyway, yeah, no class. So basically it was just based entirely off of things that you could summon based off of items. Very, very cool. Oh, I forgot to bloody pox everyone. Come on, more totems, more totems, more totems, more dots. There we go. There we go. No problem. Yeah, so I don't know if that's anything I would ever try. I certainly wouldn't try it in hardcore, I don't think, because it just feels like one of those things where the early levels, you know, obviously I would need to farm up exactly the right twink gear starting from, you know, the very beginning of the game, so that, you know, you could basically be that no class level 20 making progress, you know, clearing areas and stuff like that in a reasonable amount of time so that you wouldn't go insane with the adventure. But it could be kind of cool. I mean, I like how there's no, it's one of my favorite things when people do stuff that there's no point to it other than it's kind of crazy and they wanted to see if it could be done. And that was sort of the motivation behind this guy's build. But I mean, he was Shattered Realms like 75 or something like that. I mean, I don't even get that high in like softcore with normal characters. Never mind like a classless minion build. So huge props to the creativity of some people in this game. But not others. You know who you are. I like just how I can put down these speculative, oh, hello, thank you. I can put down a speculative totem, you know, and if somebody runs close enough, they get fucked. If not, whatever. Oh, Codex of Thunder. Yeah, once again, you know, offhand, it's going to be a slot that I always have one of these effigies in, as far as I know. I mean, there's a lot of items in this game, so it's not like I know exactly every unique that could be good, or you know, every legendary item that might be awesome for that offhand spot. I just have a feeling that one of those effigies, like a triple rare effigy, is going to be the way to go pretty much throughout the game. There you go, guys. I guess I'm doing a lot of like key rotations when realistically that's probably all I need to do is like throw down a couple totems. Although I suppose it makes it faster if I've debuffed them as well. Plus it's good habit, right? Because the moment you actually have a tough fight, you should be activating everything. I was actually really bummed. I did the literal, you know, reflexive yelling no when my my single class necromancer got killed. I think I was like level 37, and I was just so cocky because the character seems so strong, like playing a melee necro, like no minions or anything like that. I was using a spectral two-handed you know, giant mace, and just walking around smashing things. Like all of its damage output was vitality damage, which jived just perfectly with my class and my abilities. Oh, almost got myself killed there, not paying attention. It's my specialty. And yeah, just enormous damage, you know, and like every time your health would start to go down, the two-handed mace was giving me a bunch of buffs and reduced cooldown for my Siphon Souls. So I could just, you know, immediately just big AoE murder that regenerated my health and everything like that. Was really liking that character. And I just one of those things where I was getting more and more used to just being able to face tank every boss that I came up against. And just sort of plow face first through enemies, like just kind of give no respect, and ended up just running into a bunch of, well, actually these guys, you know, with all their vitality draining and everything like that. And I think it just kind of overwhelmed my own life drain, which was at like 27% or something like that. So good on them, right? Like, well done, you fuckers. But yeah, I was like, this character's going to be amazing. But I think what I'm going to do actually, is probably pursue that, but with a dual weapon build instead of a single two-handed weapon, just to increase my attack rate. Because of course your two main attack buffs on a necromancer, they're both like chance on hit, right? So you basically want to hit a lot. So I think dual weapon build would be better. And obviously I don't want to you know, break the single class thing by taking any Nightblade to get my hand on the dual wield, so I'll probably use a Blade Sworn Talisman in order to access dual wielding. And I can kind of use additional relics or items throughout the game to make sure that I always have access to dual wielding. It's gonna be fun. I'll fire that up soon here. I just wanted to little palate cleanser character that's kind of making good progress like this one is nice to go to after you just get a character killed. But yeah, it was nuts, like that necromancer build. I mean, I was going into areas where I just have like 4 or 5 of these elites on me at any given time and just face tank it, like no problem. Like, you know, I was not taking enough damage to bring me down. Well, until the time that I did take enough damage to bring me down. But prior to that, it was a very, you know, safe feeling class. It's kind of funny, the amount of time that I have in this and the amount of builds that I, you know, haven't tried and stuff like that. You know, single class stuff and all that. Definitely a lot to learn. Okay, so we got a boss fight coming up here. It shouldn't be too big of a deal, although I don't have any way to get this guy off of me. You know, so he's, once again, he's going to be focusing pretty heavily on killing me, so hopefully that's not going to be too much of an issue. Let's make sure he's poxed. His ads are going to be no trouble at all because, you know, I have my minion, or my totems will just kind of auto clear the ads. I just have to be a little bit careful, mainly in his second form. He can be a little bit aggressive here. So we'll just make sure we have totems down. Just kind of deke around him a bit. Maybe potion. Okay, he's got a little bit of ground effect going on here too. These tentacles actually do slap you. My potion is in cooldown, so I should probably kind of avoid that. You can see my elemental seal, so that's the extra effect from my new gauntlets. Okay, he was relatively straightforward there. What did we get? We got a signet ring from him. Hey, that's actually pretty nice. We got the 5% health on there. Bonds Abysmal and Emboldening Presence. I believe that's a... Is that a Kabbalist? Whatever. That's a good combo. That's a really good pet combo. Not Ritualist, Occultist and Shaman. 2 very strong pet classes, and that is a really good item. So we are actually going to immediately... Well, loot this, and then immediately fuck off back to town and stuff that in my item assistant so that I don't go and get my ass killed in a second and lose all that, because that's actually a good item. I can see using that. Oh. Never anything good. All right, so before I step out into the wild world beyond here, we're going back to do a little bit of inventory management. And we actually do have a cache in as well. We could at some point head back to the Pine Barrens as well, and I'm kind of toying with that idea. I have been pushing forward to hit Elite, because that's when you really start making some progress. Oh, there we go, sweet. Okay, so she gave me a ring as well. What did you give me? Ring of Eternal Rot. Thanks, I guess. All right. Let's see here. We're stacking spirit. We're stacking physique. You know, I do wonder about this. Like, bonus duration damage. Same idea here, but bonus magical damage. Yeah. This is definitely the one that you want to be hitting up if you're doing physical damage. And this would be what I'm wanting to hit up. So we're doing this the right way around. I mean, this here would normally be something that would go really well with a bleed build. But for us, we're going in the direction of lightning. So we don't need to worry about that too much. Okay. Yeah, let's stow some of this loot, because we're packing quite a bit around. And then we'll get back out in the field. Now, what exactly are we doing? Are we doing this? I can't remember. Yeah, we've stacked that. I mean, it could be that we're getting a little bit more into this defensive stuff as well. Looks like we have thrown some points in here. Extra health, that's always nice. What about some additional healing? I mean, we're really not relying on this for damage right now. In fact, I wonder, like, do I even just pull the points right out of this now? I mean, it does have that twin fangs going on. Let's actually let's take a moment here to look at our character. Where are we stacking our additional damage here? See, we're rolling with 113% additional bleed. Now that's kind of the only thing that's affecting Bloody Pox right now. Whereas when we come down here, we're at 432% added lightning, 297% added electrocute, and this nice 32% modifier to duration. So realistically, we have absolutely gone in on lightning damage. We've got a tiny bit of Bloody Pox bonus here. So you kind of think about that. You're like, well, that's a pretty good item for hybrid, like to both. But the question is, if we were going to pull back points and basically recover, you know, say an extra 10 some odd points, we've got 3 sitting here. We're 18 away from hitting Stormcaller's Pact, which I think you can see if you look at that exactly why that would be super fucking useful for us, right? Look at that electrocute damage in there. Added electrocute damage flat as well. Biz damage converted to lightning, which doesn't really affect us because we're not really doing physical damage. But if we were, you know, you never know. I might want to hit something every once in a while. That could be good, or we could just dump those points straight into our survivability mechanics. It's something to think about. Something I'm not going to do right away. I'm actually going to throw all this in here just so that we get better ticks for healing, because I am noticing my health bar is dropping, right? So if I go through my rotation, I have a totem down. Let's get it doing a little bit more for us. No devotion points yet, but we will get to that. Okay, and now I need to stow this loot and get back out there. All right. Let's dump all this in here so it's available for future characters. That looks like it. Wrong. Oh, look at this. Okay, cracked lodestone. I would assume, yeah, we got more of those on the go. See, this is everyone. This is why you keep collecting these things, right? Like, come over here to this vendor. Look at this. Okay, I'm at 107,000, 147,000. That's not bad. That's not bad. That's actually, that is over 1/3. No, I actually can't count. That's just under 1/3 of the cost of a Potion of Clarity, which doubles your XP gain.
Put it to good use.
So, you know, it's not bad. Make sure to collect and sell. Okay, anyway, let's get back out there into the field. One more thing to check. Ethereal Essence. We do have another quest we could do there. You know what, though? I think the reason that we're not being meticulous about this is probably because in an earlier video I made the call to just try to press through and unlock Elite. So let's do that. Let's just keep rolling. No reason to dally too long in Veteran. Babby mode. Okay, so we are out in the mountains, up in the Astrakhan Road. This is one of the areas with some unsettling lore that goes on. It's sort of a little bit of the Donner Party scenario. If you're not up to your history, the Donner Party was basically you know, one of the kind of like pioneer groups that headed out into the west of the United States back in the day, and they left at a non-fortuitous time of year and ended up trapped in the mountains in the middle of winter and had to, you know, eat each other quite infamously. And there's a nasty retelling of that tale here with, of course, the supernatural elements that Grim Dawn has in it. Grim Dawn is grim, is basically what it comes down to. Okay, see, we're getting slightly bigger ticks off of our Wendigo totem, but it still is just absolutely nowhere near where we would like it to be to sort of feel a little bit more secure hanging in and popping totems. Would you guys stand closer to my totems, please? It's fucking incredibly rude to just ignore me here while I'm trying to kill you. Alright, there we go. Ooh, stump. Give me them biddies. Alright. Come on. Hey, are you running? Get back here. There we go. Anything of use? No, not particularly. I do have my, yeah, I have things set up properly there. I just kind of wonder if I should, you know, when I used to play Poe, of course, I had like Neversink's loot filter and stuff like that. And I know there are some, there's a couple more mods in this that I could be using as far as, you know, identifying loot on the ground and stuff like that. So I wonder if I should maybe take a look at them. I used to use like Grim Internals and stuff, but a couple of the functions that, that they had, like the health bars for my minions and stuff like that, GGG. Yeah, I've been watching the whole crisis with the Path of Exile League, Calandra League, because this video could be watched at a later date. So I've been watching that. It's on my mind. But Crate, you know, they added a bunch of the functionality that was in Grim Internals in terms of, you know, monitoring minion health and stuff like that. So I didn't bother installing it again. I don't know. I might. I mean, it sort of gives you DPS and stuff like that. I never really found it incredibly useful, though, because it's like I'm just not really at that high enough level of hyper-tuning builds and stuff. I'm just kind of flailing around here. Wow. Okay. Somebody dropped a lot of loot for me there. I mean, that's... If only it had any fucking skills on it that actually are useful. Oh, yeah, like that's got some shit to it. Stormcaller's packed. I don't mind that. Okay, let's maybe take a look at that. And that. And that. Okay, once again, I mean, that is pretty baller, but it doesn't really work for me specifically. Okay, that's kind of a crazy number. I don't even know if I've ever seen that focused of a pile of loot drop. Like, that's almost like my clothes fell off, right? Like, everything there is kind of build appropriate for me. And a lot of these, like, if you look at my gear, like level 20, level 30, level 24, level 20, you know, like these could be really useful upgrades for me. That's kind of an amazing rare. Thank you for sacrificing your life for me there, buddy. Nice. Oh, standing in the bad. All right, anyway. We're going to move on here. No reason to poke around. There's nothing of note until we basically get to Fort Icon at this point. We do have a couple other little quests in the interim, but... Can't do that yet. Man, these things are always really tanky. There's actually... I don't think it drops here. There's a skull boss out in this area, I believe. Like one of these Yetis. And I don't think he drops the thing that allows you to summon one of these as a minion, but I did look it up at some point and find out where it drops because it's pretty freaking cool. He's got like a... You can basically summon one of these, and he's got like a chill breath that can freeze enemies down and stuff like that. Pretty cool extra minion. Just the type of stuff that classless minion build would be using, right? Like there's a number of items that summon really powerful minions, so you can actually kit someone out to do a pretty good job of not having to have any skills at all. Still though, you know, like one of my favorite minion builds is a ritualist just because of the survivability that it has, and that is something that I think would potentially be quite frustrating. It's like, how would you get your minions to stay alive? You know, like, yeah, you can get them out there, but without the capability to Okay, that slight trouble there. I was having a little bit of trouble with my movement skill. I couldn't really get any range on it there. Here we go. The trip south. Notebook is caked in dried blood and mud, and many pages appear to have been deliberately torn out. Over time, we would find these pages chronicling this little family's descent into not-so-goodness. Yeah, they run out of horse meat, and you know the type of meat that has to come next. And I like the idea that you know, there's it sort of goes along with, like, isn't that, and I'm gonna butcher this because I don't really know about it, but there's that idea of like the Wendigos, right? Which is like kind of a native North American, I believe, legendary creature. And I think you're meant to kind of turn into them if you eat human flesh, right? Like it's supposed to be this craving that you develop for human flesh that sort of turns you into this somewhat inhuman creature. And that's kind of what this is, right? They sort of take that story and combine it with that Donner Party kind of story. And Grim Dawn, you know, those guys maybe need to, you know, maybe a little bit of counseling. Like, great game, but some of these ideas are just genuinely unsettling. There we go. I'm continuing to see some pretty awesome DPS from this character as well. That's kind of positive. It's nice because it makes me feel like the survivability is going to be okay. Like, if I could just kill the enemy nice and quick, that's what really matters, right? I can get enough totems out to murder everyone rapidly, and I'm in good shape. So there's the next entry in this rather disturbing journal of the trip south. Yeah, here you go. Things are going downhill. I believe this is from the perspective of the wife. Gods protect us. We've been starving. I spent the morning searching the woods for nuts and bugs to eat. I can't believe that it doesn't shame me to say I've been eating bugs when I can find them. When I got back to the camp, I found that John had killed a man that attacked our daughter. Day 29. John has brought Sylvie and me a small portion of meat. I don't ask where he got it. Day 30. The other men asked what happened to their friend. John told them that he tried to hurt our little girl and offered them some freshly cut meat. They took it without another word and left us alone. Does friendship mean so little in these times? Day 36. John offered Sylvie to one of the men in the camp. When the man came into the tent to make his advance, John killed him in front of Sylvie and me. I'm so hungry, I don't even care. It goes downhill from there, you know. Grim Dawn, man. Read the lore at your own risk. I have to say I like that, though. They really, you know, they didn't pull any punches. They're like, this is, you know, I've talked about it before, right? There's settings that are post-apocalyptic, and then there's settings that are in the transition from everyday life to that post-apocalyptic world, and Grim Dawn is one of those. Like, this is a world that is in its apocalypse, right? And you go through it just sort of seeing what people are doing to survive, and, you know, some really horrifying shit, like the guy who's trying to burn his family to death in a locked house to save them from, you know, the demons and everything like that. Like, you sort of look at just people confronted by this worst case scenario and just making the, you know, the decisions that, you know, when you look at it and you're like, well, when you're not under incredible pressure, they would seem just insane. But yeah, really, really well done. Okay. See what I mean? But I've mentioned it before, these little pricks with their fucking healing, and then you're up against one of these things and they just stand there and make it take forever. It's very annoying. And I'm sitting here babbling about the dark story of Grim Dawn and not paying attention. I also want to go down here really quick and just poke around, because I'm not sure. I might be missing a shrine clearance down here. All right. I'm very nervous and edgy standing around. These Yetis often, they don't have a ton of DPS, which you might not suspect, you know, because they're quite a large and relatively intimidating opponent, but they're more defensive than offensive, so I'm not too nervous standing toe-to-toe, but it still feels a little bit cocky. Yeah, I was standing in the bad right there. That's always not going to be good. Yeah, see, this is where you're again, we're skipping sections. Day whatever. They've lost track of time. Sylvia's become angry, spiteful, malevolent. Where did all the tenderness and innocence of my little girl go? Why is it that I feel I don't care anymore? I should care, but feel nothing. So yeah, so that basically like they're turning into, you know, yeah, chase men. Terror makes flesh taste sweeter. Good. So hungry, must find more. So they've basically turned into Wendigos. And actually, later on in the Ashes of Malmouth content, that Wendigo storyline becomes a pretty major thing. Look at that. We would have got here eventually. And no, I wasn't missing a shrine. I was just wandering aimlessly. I could have sworn there was a skull boss here, so yeah, maybe he's in the next zone. Whatever. Oh, somebody's getting excited up here on top of the walls. Let me join in. Well, you know what I've just realized? We're sitting actually just past the half-hour mark. I'd lost track of time, rambling on about cannibalism and the pros and cons therein. And so I think what I'm going to go ahead and do is just put an episode break in right now. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you will be back to watch the continued adventures of QuestySparks in the next episode. Till then.